Billionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
And greed,
a poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Today, we're going to talk about some interesting things, bro. So it's funny because, Trump got in office, and there's so much information coming out just about all of the fraud, waste, and abuse. And even, Trump has always denied the 2020 election. And Brian Maxwell has this great video breaking down with factual evidence that there was corruption going on with the election and probably more elections, to be honest with you. It's so much going on, bro, in politics right now, man. It's wild. Then we're going to tap in with Brandon Liam talking about Mayor Brandon Johnson and how he, we went over this in his last video. He said he's going to give an update, so it's an updated video about the woman exposing everything that's going on right now with Brandon Johnson in Chicago, abusing his own people, the people that he claimed, the black community who he claims to stand up for, and he, quotes all of these Martin Luther King quotes and things like that and acts like he stands for people. But that's why you see Chicago Flips Red. This is a group, I believe, started by women who is trying to get Chicagoans to flip red because they see that the Democratic Party isn't the party that they once knew, bro. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? And people need to wake up. These are important videos that we need to tap in to, and we're gonna get straight to it. Also, we're gonna tap in with my guy Thomas Mott, and my Eagles right now ain't looking too good. We're on a 3-game losing streak. We 8-5. We need to really, we got some work to do. We'll talk about that. We're gonna tap in with Thomas Mott and talk about the Eagles going into this week against the Raiders. So before we start, man, make sure you like, share, and comment. Also, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time your boy go live. You heard? Let's get it. All right, so look, man. Hold on real quick. Cause that just... you know what? It's cool. I'll do that next time. So anyway, let's get into this video with my guy, Brandon Liam. Talking about this whole situation going on in Chicago.
Brandon Johnson just got publicly exposed by his own staff for ruining the city of Chicago. Make sure you watch till the end because this is absolutely diabolical. The city's treasurer exposes that Brandon Johnson has brought Chicago to the brink of economic collapse. She blows a hole wide open in his lie that Chicago is safer than it's ever been and reveals that the city is actively stealing money from Black and Hispanic homeowners. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, but we're going to start with this first clip where she proclaims the city's basically doomed.
Look, this city needs a long-range plan to figure out how to bring business back and keep residents here. You can't have a mentality where people are saying, I got to get out of here. Where the owner of the Drake Hotel says, I got to get out of here. Or the owner of the Westin Hotel says, I got to get out of here. Or someone who works for me has a 1-bedroom apartment and says to me, hey, look, you know what? My assessments and my taxes are higher than my mortgage. How can I have a 1-bedroom apartment when it's costing me $4,500 a month to live there? I'm better off to rent. So we need to come to some conclusion about what we're going to do about the fact that this bill, 60% of, or 60 to 65% of it is going to public schools. 60 to 65% of it is going to public schools. We need to rethink how we're funding our government. And the 600 million that I talked about that's driving the city up, we're going to have to reduce our spending. We're going to have to tighten our belts, and everybody's going to have to suffer a little bit. Or if there's an increase, people are going to have to feel like they're getting something for it. Because I'll give you an example. Maybe people won't mind paying an extra $50 if they could walk their dog at night without feeling like they're getting mugged, right? Or having a gold chain ripped off their necks. I think if people felt safe, they wouldn't mind paying a little bit more. But they don't have that feeling right now. There's a pervasive feeling of fear with regard to crime.
But wait, I thought J.B. Pritzker and
Exposing the
Brandon
truth.
Johnson told me that Chicago was the safest place in America. Donald Trump wanting to send in the National Guard was completely unwarranted because they have everything under control there, despite a mass shooting just occurring at the Christmas lighting ceremony in downtown, where a bunch of teenagers whose races shan't be discussed because that would be racist, obviously, shot at each other in the middle of a crowd, killed one kid, and injured a bunch more. But ever since Brandon Johnson brilliantly doubled the property taxes, it's no longer politically expedient to cover for his incompetence. The treasurer can see it right there on the spreadsheets. Businesses are leaving because of rampant crime and lawlessness, anti-police policies coming from City Hall, and an extremely unfriendly business environment coming from the city's socialist mayor. But
And that's why, you know, people need to wake up when they hear all of this free stuff and bro, how long are you going to keep falling for the racial shit? You know what I mean? How long are we going to keep falling for that? You know what I mean? It's like it's the only thing that they know how to play on is race. And they use this. And then the thing is that Democrats been in power longer than Republicans, up till now. Trump is getting back in. But for the last 15 years, and what have they done? What have they done for the black communities? What have they done to try to strengthen, you know, anything for that matter? Nothing, bro. You know, Donald Trump, this is everything that this lady's talking about. It's pretty much everything Donald Trump has already been talking about as far as, you know, getting rid of the Board of Education, just gutting a lot of stuff that's in the government. That's there. We're spending so much money on these things and it's not working. So he's trying to give it back to the state so we can individually work on these issues state by state. And then you'll see the performance, and you could base where you want to live and things like that based off the performance in states and how they're being ran. Because if 60% she's saying 60% of this money is going to the Department of Education, and I'm pretty sure that the education in Chicago sucks, especially in the black communities. Is it worth the government spending tax dollars to give to the Board of Education? No, it's not. You know, and plus all of these they keep taxing. That's all you hear Democrats talk about is tax. They just want to keep taxing us, bro. Keep adding, keep taking more money from us, and all that's going to do is drive business out, and it's going to make small business irrelevant in these states. So, like she said, bro, in order for any state to be ran properly, you know, you got to budget the money, you know, and you got to base everything off performance, bro, off merit. It's all of this stuff that these Democrats be talking about is not based off merit. It's not based off logic. It's based off race and you know, division bullshit, a bunch of bullshit. And this is why these states is failing, and they in super large deficits, bro.
here she reveals just how badly those anti-business policies hit downtown and why that enormous tax burden got shifted to the residential area.
When you have a commercial base like we have in the city of Chicago, and behind me are all these amazing commercial buildings, banks, you know, law offices, and they are a third empty, their taxes are going to go down, and we've seen their taxes go down by $3 billion. Somebody has to pick that up. So the people who are picking it up are the residences and the people who are still living here. But fact of the matter is that a lot of the commercial buildings are going down. I'm going to give you an example. Westin Hotel just sold. Owner Westin Hotel said, I'm out of here. that building sold for over 200 million a few years ago. And the selling price on it recently was 71 million. Oh. So we have an issue with what's happening with the businesses in the city, because if they don't feel that it's viable and they don't feel it's a friendly place to do business where they're not killed on property taxes, they're going to exit, and you're going to experience what people are feeling, which is called the I'm out of here syndrome. And businesses are feeling I'm out of here. They're dealing with this head tax at the city right now. And the issue is, will that drive more businesses out? And we don't know, but that's the fear.
Yeah, they keep, another thing I want to say, they keep putting just pretty much anybody in these roles. This guy Brandon Johnson was a school teacher. It's not to say, a school teacher can't do this job, but I just feel like when it comes to being a politician, I think you got to have some degree of business sense, bro, because you're running a state. You got a lot. It's a lot to do. At minimum, you got to have people around you who are business savvy, that are economically sound, bro. They know what they're talking about. Obviously, this dude doesn't know anything, and then you got the guys like Gavin Newsom, who was on the same type of time. Difference is Gavin Newsom knows what he's doing. Gavin Newsom knows business. He knows what he's doing. He's he's not just doing dumb things or spending money unnecessarily. This dude is actually just, stealing, robbing, abusing his power. This stuff is getting out of control, bro.
That's what they're doing right now.
But are they...
And more importantly, they claim to serve the people. That's the part. Like, they keep saying they serving the people. All of these politicians get up here, they smile, they put on this fake smile for the camera and talk about how they for the people. But when you look at the things that they're doing, tell me how they're for the people, bro. Point blank, period, bro. Things aren't going to get, things could be super great in America, bro. Just think about it. Things could be super, super great. And we can all be living that, American dream that everybody, wants to live. Simple. You got to make the government as small as possible. That's the key to it. The government is too large, and that's the reason why it's failing. It's too much taxpayer money being sent off to bullshit projects and to these departments that are unnecessary in the government, period.
Suburbs seeing this increase?
Modestly, because it is the city that got reassessed this year, not the suburbs. The suburbs are on caps, so they're like 4%, 5%.
So Brandon Johnson, the proud black mayor of Chicago, raised the property taxes in the suburbs by 4% and raised them on the black community by 100%. Thanks to Brandon.
Bro, just think about that. What? Like, tell me how does that make sense? But you know why? You know why they do this? It's because they need these people. They need the money, and they need to do what they can to keep the money in their state. That's why I tell people, bro, these people don't care about you, bro. They don't give two shits about you, man. Like, let's be real. This is prime example, and she's telling you. She's keeping it real.
Johnson, Chicago is in the middle of a death spiral. When businesses leave, that means less tax revenue coming from them. It also means the loss of those jobs, which is less tax revenue for the city. But more unemployment also means more people on city welfare, which raises costs for the city. And so the mayor is trying to squeeze even more money out of businesses to cover that shortfall. And all that's going to do is lead to more businesses leaving, more jobs being lost, even less tax revenue for the city, and even more costs for the city. And they'll likely have to make cuts to the racist police department, which will lead to more crime and more businesses leaving, and so on and so forth. And the funny thing is, the city could save a ton of money if they just decided to stop giving free welfare to all of the illegal aliens there. But they almost can't at this point because it would create a humanitarian crisis. What happens when 100,000 illegals stop receiving welfare they used to survive? It would lead to mass homelessness, people freezing out on the street, probably a huge surge in shoplifting, which would expedite the business exodus. There are really no good solutions here. So I guess that's why the city thought it was a good idea to steal $78 million from homeowners. Take a look at this.
And on top of that, they do this stuff on purpose too, because they need to be able to have a way to get federal dollars. And that reason is, oh, we got to take care of the people. You know, the people need it. Do you want to see people homeless on the street? They kids that can't eat? Like, that's the play. It's the play on race and everything. Meanwhile, they're the ones that's continuing to let down their, you know, these urban communities. You feel me? The black community. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy, bro. Like, and my biggest thing is none of this stuff would be exposed. I mean, I'm gonna say all of it, but you know, a lot of it would have got exposed. But Donald Trump is the reason why a lot of this is getting exposed, bro. Period. Like, this dude is like, because under Joe Biden, remember, nobody couldn't talk, nobody couldn't have no. But people was afraid to get canceled. Like, people still, you know, I be seeing people still like kind of like not wanting to say certain things. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to get canceled. They don't want to say the wrong thing. Well, under Trump, a lot of people is speaking their mind now, bro.
Look at this. This bill right here. You owe $2,360. You're slightly dyslexic. You read the bill and you read it as $3,200. And that's what you send me. So now you've overpaid. My computer will tell you if you've overpaid, what year going back 20 years. We're sitting on $78 million worth of overpayments. My computer will tell you, you apply online, you can get your money back within 4 to 6 weeks. We have a radio show running called Black Houses Matter on VON every Monday at 11:30. We have given back $400 million to African Americans who simply don't know that they're entitled to these exemptions and refunds. And now we're doing Latino Houses Matter. We've given back over $200 million. They don't understand the exemption process.
They are literally stealing people's money and hoping that they don't ask for it back, and purposely exploiting Black and Hispanic residents who they think are too stupid to know they can ask for it back.
Hey, yo, we're going to move on from this. You know, go tap in if you want to listen to the rest of this show. My guy, Brandon Lehman. Yo, yo, I want to speak on that too, because that's so true. Like, they prey on people, and this goes for anything. This goes with insurance companies. This goes with pretty much everything. The justice system, they prey on people not knowing, you know, their rights. They prey on you not knowing, like, the information that you need to know. So, like, just like in the justice system, I said this before. A lot of times when people blow trial, you know, they'll come back 3, 4, 5 years later and give back time and things like that, or you know, their whole sentence will get overturned. And it's the same thing with insurance companies and whatnot. They'll deny you, knowing that the percentages of people who actually appeal the process, right? They'll make up some lame shit, knowing that majority of people don't appeal the process because they think that, well, they don't know. They don't know that they can appeal and win, you know, and this is the stuff that they do. That's just crazy, though. You know, people overpay and they don't even send them their money back. That's crazy, man. Anyway, yo, let's get into this next story. This joint is crazy with my guy, Brian Maxwell. Let's get into it.
You heard us standing here guaranteeing to the public and the world that even if fraud is committed, we would be able to trace it. We never said that fraud could not be committed, but you said we could trace it. And now you tell me that at 10 in the evening you could do it and we would never know.
No, sir. I stand by our product and we can trace everything that we do.
This is a big one here, and you're not going to hear the mainstream media covering it. It is that damaging to the Democrat Party, and it is outrageous. As a matter of fact, do you remember what happened in 2020 that sent Joe Biden to the White House and how everybody was questioning it, and they were blasted and made to look like they were silly and being anti-American for questioning it? Well, in this video, finally, you're going to get 100% factual proof about what went on and how China and Venezuela are involved. FBI has the information. It's already been sent over to Senator Chuck Grassley. Now, there was a letter that was sent to President Trump within the last few days, and it was sent by Hugo Carvajal, and he is the former spy chief, the chief of spies from Venezuela, the right-hand man to Hugo Chavez and the right-hand man to Maduro. And in that letter, because he's here serving 21 years in prison for the T-wordism. We caught him and hold him accountable. You didn't even know it probably because the media didn't cover it. But he wrote a letter to President Trump. And in that letter, he dropped some heat. He talked about the operatives that are here. He talked about how Venezuela opened up the prisons to send their people here, like President Trump been saying. And the Democrats tried to say, oh, it's a lie. He's making it up. No, we've got the spy chief from that country admitting it happened. But even more crucial, the voting machines, Smartmatic. Now, I remember when people were questioning Smartmatic and Dominion, and they were getting sued left and right, that $1 billion suit against Fox News. But now we find out that even the lawsuits were funded by Democrat leftists, that not even the politicians, the business owners, the founder of LinkedIn, allegedly. And everything in this video is alleged, even though there's factual proof that you're going to see. No more about, oh,
Yo, my bad. I'm trying to fix something. My bad. Pardon me.
speculation or me just talking about it. You're going to see the footage. You're going to hear it for yourself. But Reid Hoffman funded these folks to attack anybody that spoke out about the machine's ability to tabulate votes or be frauded. As a matter of fact, you're going to see the creator, the founder of Smartmatic, who is right now being held for bribery in the Philippines. You're going to hear about his participation and what they've done here in the United States. So just buckle up. Check this news clip out, and then I'm going to let you hear how the Philippine government is talking to them and how they're handling behind these machines and the fraud and the tampering that's going on. And wait till you hear just how easy it is for them to go in and manipulate. Check this out. This is big. It impacts us in more ways than people know. This is why President Trump is pushing the paper ballots. This is why we got to get away from the machines.
Hey, yo, real quick, people got to understand, bro, Donald Trump knows what's going on. That's why I say, bro, Donald Trump actually wants to see America win, bro. He wants to see, I'm convinced, bro, because everything that he's doing is exposing these people, exposing all the fraud, waste, and abuse, all the things that Democrats claimed that they would do in the past, never did, Donald Trump is doing. He exposed the fake news, right? He put tariffs on other countries, brought them to the table, made deals with them, opened up their markets so we can sell good in their country. Is bringing, manufacturing back to America. Like, we've seen, the Jeff Bezos, the Mark Zuckerbergs say that, they're investing $600 billion, $400 billion, all of these billions of dollars. He has got multiple different huge businesses making huge investments in America, to deal with the EU. Is there a lot of stuff going on? Yes, there's pushback against them. Yeah, you got the Democratic Party. You have other countries who are not aligned with America's interests, of course. So you're going to get pushback around the board. I'm just saying that most of the things that Donald Trump said, I would say all the important things. And this is what he's going to go over right now. Donald Trump has always claimed that the 2020 election was stolen. And we see it. Even, come on. You telling me Joe Biden got more votes than Barack Obama, bro? Stop playing. That's how you know. Come on, bro, stop. We know. They got footage of, things that happen. They have all types of stuff. But this right here is a good video, too, breaking down this whole thing, bro. Let's get into it.
In this video is factual proof of what was going on. But check this out.
Federal prosecutors have just indicted a co-founder of the Smartmatic voting machine company. The feds say he and several others took part in a bribery and money laundering scheme in the Philippines. Here's national correspondent William Lajeunesse.
Well, Jillian, Smartmatic has sued Fox News and its parent company in a separate civil lawsuit. Now, according to this indictment, Smartmatic president Roger Alejandro Penate Martinez and two other executives paid at least $1 million in bribes to obtain a contract to provide voting machines to the Philippines. They, quote, allegedly funded the bribes through a slush fund that was created by over-invoicing the cost per voting machine for the 2016 Philippine elections, and caused the creation of fraudulent contracts and sham loan agreements to justify transfers. The money was allegedly laundered through multiple bank accounts, then paid to the former chief of the Philippine Election Commission, Juan Andres Donato Batista. According to the indictment, the Philippine government signed contracts totaling $182 million for services and the sale or lease of some 90,000 electronic voting machines. The indicted executives and others created and used slush funds to, among other things, pay bribes to Batista, including by, quote, over-invoicing or inflating the cost per voting machine for the May 2016 Philippine elections with additional fees of $50 and $10 per unit. Penate and other executives are each charged with 1 count of conspiracy to violate the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act and 3 counts of international money laundering. Now, in response, the company posted this on X, quote, Smartmatic has learned that 2 of our employees have been indicted for alleged violations of the FCPA in the Philippines almost 10 years ago. Regardless of the veracity of the allegations, and while our accused employees remain innocent until proven guilty, we have placed both employees on leaves of absence effective immediately.
Okay, so you heard that, right? Now, here he is, Penate, in the Philippines, okay? Now, after this, I'm going to let you see all of the evidence that the FBI has and how Venezuela and China are tied in to machines and ballots for the U.S. elections. But check this out. They about to blast this guy.
So what you're saying, what you're telling us is that the server is the one that dictates whether it will accept the message or not, irrespective of the time being used by the sender.
The server is not looking at the time, but rather the digital signatures and the contents of the package being generated by the PICO. So if the
But if that's the case, Mr. Chairman, what's the use of having a time as far as the PICO sender is concerned? What's the purpose of the time if that is immaterial?
the time gives you the sequence of the actions, and when you actually
but this, if I may interrupt, as Congressman Gona says, if this sequence can be delayed to 10 in the evening, what the heck? My God.
Sir,
your assurance was that anything that happens between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. would be reflected as 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I didn't know that 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. could be moved to 10 in the evening. You realize what a fool you have made,
sir,
of the legislators who passed this law?
I understand, sir. With all due respect, it's an unforeseen situation. It's one
unforeseen.
Yes, sir.
That was the principal guarantee that this would be an honest election, that we would know digitally what would happen during election day and during the election hours.
And you do, sir.
And look, this is why Trump has exposed all of this stuff, bro, with these elections, and he's trying to pass a bill to basically protect the elections and make sure that illegal immigrants aren't voting, that extra ballots and all of this stuff that they're doing, that this stuff is not happening. And I don't understand how this should just be like mandatory. It should just be mandatory things that should happen, but they don't want to do it. And I don't know if I hope that it does, because it's another way to make sure things is on an even playing field. But we see the corruption, bro. You see the corruption. Like, come on, bro.
Sir,
the money, the love of the money, boy.
No, don't forget that. The sons of bitches.
That boy hot.
You had us standing here guaranteeing to the public and the world that even if fraud is committed, we would be able to trace it. We never said that fraud could not be committed, but you said we could trace it. And now you tell me that at 10 in the evening you could do it and we would never know.
No, sir. I stand by our product, and we can trace everything that we do.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid. Hit that thumbs up, because I'll never ask you for a cash app or a super chat or a donation.
That's because he making them look stupid.
You hitting that like button, it does help the channel get the video out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And once you do, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. That way YouTube will make sure you get notified when I upload new videos. You heard it. So, in other words, he promised them, hey, listen, guys, if anything ever happens, any fraud happens, you could tell it. It leaves a footprint, blah, blah, blah. And just for them to find out that, no, that wherever the headquarters are, there's always somebody in the background that could go in, manipulate, and change things that left no digital footprint, where they would have no idea that there was manipulation that went on in their elections. Sound familiar? Because in the 2020 election, we had more votes, more voters than ever before in the history of this country, by about 16 million. 16 million. Then in 2024, it goes right back down to normal. Now, with Trump being the so-called existential threat and Hitler and all of this stuff, you mean to tell me
be right back,
that as ravaged and Trump deranged as the Democrats were. 16 million decided to sit it out. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Coincidentally, at the same time that we're using these certain machines, and check out what's happening to anybody that spoke back. Democrat billionaire secretly pumped 24 million into Smartmatic to fund lawsuits to muzzle news outlets. Fox News and Newsmax reported concerns about the security of Smartmatic's vote tabulators. A recently unsealed court filing reveals that Smartmatic CEO Antonio Mujica secretly met with Reid Hoffman, who's the founder of LinkedIn, to secure funding for lawsuits aimed at silencing the networks and others investigating electronic voting machine safety. Smartmatic concealed the meeting and funding from the court and defendants. Additionally, in August of 2024, a federal grand jury indicted Smartmatic executives for allegedly engaging in bribery and money laundering. So even here, bribery and money laundering. But he's got enough to worry about over in the Philippines. Now, here's the footage that I really wanted you to see. Buckle up, because this right here goes deep. And yes, it's a little long, but it's extremely important. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it up full screen for you because I want you to be able to watch this and see everything as clearly as I was. Check this out and try not to be too shocked. I want to take a minute to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video and partner of the channel, Chapter. Now, seniors, right now, you want to make sure that you're class real politics and make sure that you are
sending fake driver's licenses in to create fake mail-in ballots to help Joe Biden win. Last night, I got the text of the memo. I put it up for everybody so you can read it at justthenews.com. There's a busting headline in here. When the FBI called this back, so they have this intel. It's corroborated by licenses that are intercepted by Customs and Border in Border Protection in Chicago. But they call it back anyways and decide we're just not going to investigate this because this would look good for Trump, bad for Biden. They ask all intelligence agencies to destroy the intelligence report that the FBI actually sent them. As a Federal Records Act, you're not supposed to do that. But they wanted it destroyed. Why? Because they probably didn't want it to leak out before the election that China preferred Joe Biden over Donald Trump. 60 Minutes aired a piece with the head of the Homeland Security Cybersecurity Division saying there were no foreign intrusions in the 2020 election. It was a perfectly clean election. He said, I think it was Chris Krebs was his name. We now know that to have been a false proclamation. First, we know a year later in 21, a bunch of Iranians were indicted in Manhattan on charges that they interfered in the election and hacked into a state database to obtain voter IDs and use them in a mal-influence operation against the American election.
Well, we did subpoena Mike Frontera, Dominion's lawyer, but they found a way to not let us have our witnesses. What Jenna did, though, that since at least June, those BIOS passwords, 670 of them, from 63 counties out of the 64 counties in Colorado, have been on the public website for the Secretary of State, which means they were out there for anybody to grab. She should be locked up, and they should throw away the key and let me loose.
Yeah, we need a prisoner swap.
Yeah, for sure.
So you think that this election in Colorado was definitely compromised because of the leaked passwords?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
I mean, in Mesa County, they were finding fraudulent ballots. They were finding the same person was signing the ballot envelopes, and they brushed it off like it was nothing. As a matter of fact, what Jenna Griswold did with the passwords, she knew while I was going through the trial that was out there and did nothing.
So those passwords were leaked out there during your trial before your sentencing?
They were out there since June, but she knew about it and didn't tell the clerks about it. And now she's apologizing to the clerks. She should apologize to the American people, or at least the people in Colorado. But there are other passwords besides just for Colorado, I've heard, for the United States in there for Dominion machines.
So you think some of our other elections in other states could be compromised because of leaked passwords for the Dominion machines?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what's going on with the cartel in Arizona and Michigan. And, you know, I was so happy when I saw Florida for Trump and all these other places. But just remember, Dominion's headquarters is in Colorado, Denver, Colorado.
Yes.
And also, most people don't know that Dominion is out of Serbia as well. And then if you can play that video by Gary Brunson, the 30-year CIA whistleblower, you will, or look at the transcript, you'll see exactly how this all started with Hugo Chavez in Venezuela. And that's why this stuff with Patrick Byrne and all that's coming out, it leads all the way back to Venezuela and then the corruption worldwide.
Now we know there was a second country that was more deeply involved in meddling into the election.
So hold on real quick, bro. It ain't like, bro, they projection is real, bro. The projection is real. All this time, they were saying that Trump and Russia was colluding with Trump to win the election. And this whole time, these Democrats were colluding with others to steal the elections. And they did it in 2020 with Joe Biden, bro. You can't make this shit up, bro. You really can't, bro. These people are straight crooks, bro. That's why I know that government is needed, bro, but I don't be fucking with these politicians, bro, for real.
The FBI
Straight
in
snakes.
August 2020, so 3.5 months before the votes were cast that put Joe Biden in the presidency, that FBI believed that China had begun a mass operation to produce fake U.S. driver's licenses, move them to the United States, and have Chinese citizens here on our soil, both legally and illegally, go out and get fake mail-in ballots and vote to try to elect Joe Biden. By the way, the FBI intelligence says this Chinese operation from a Chinese intelligence source.
So hold on. This is why Trump said he wants to get rid of mail-in ballots. Because they know, bro, this is the thing. People think that that Donald Trump isn't privy to this information. Donald Trump knows what's going on. This is the reason why he is going so hard to try to make these elections fair, and he's going so hard to get rid of all the fraud, waste, and abuse. Donald Trump is single-handedly exposing all of this, bro. Him and his administration.
That the FBI was handling was designed to help Joe Biden beat Donald Trump. It's very important. That was the intention.
Sensational video and photo evidence has emerged, exposing a factory in Guangdong producing 500,000 blank American ballots. The Gateway Pundit, an online news publication, confirmed that the video was provided by Vanessa A. Olivides, a third-generation member of the Chinese Communist Party. Vanessa tweeted on November 9 that the printing plant in Guangdong, China, was printing out fake ballots, which were then mailed to Canada and Mexico under the name of medical supplies between August and October 2020, and from there flown into the United States. The released video of the phone call to a Chinese manufacturer requesting a bulk order of fake US 2020 ballots has been revealed by the Gateway Pundit. Here is the translated recording between the caller and the ballot printing company.
对啊，因为你仔细看一下，它那个选票的那个印刷是不一样的。
那个没关系，我会看着那个图片来做这边。
然后到时候你们这边发物流的话怎么发？因为我这边订的话就是大量的订这样子。
大量订那个发物流的话，一般好像也要好几天哦，物流比较慢。
发国际可以吗？
我看一下，发国际好像也是走物流啊。
可以走是吧？
Look at that. That's crazy. Yo.
Did you notice Fulton County, Georgia? Fannie Willis's district?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yo, I want to see people get held accountable for these things, bro. This is big. And Donald Trump's exposing it. So everybody who say, oh, Donald Trump is a puppet, Donald Trump is trying to look out for his millionaire and billionaire friends. If that was the case, Elon would have that EV mandate. He helped them win the election. If these was the cases, bro, like it would be so things just wouldn't be the way they are. People wouldn't be investing $600 billion into the United States of America. They wouldn't, because they would sign contracts or do some type of backdoor deals with Donald Trump so they can benefit and Donald Trump can benefit. But he's not doing that, bro. He's not doing what the Democrats are trying to do with the Obamacare subsidies, where they're trying to get $26 billion. That's just for 1 year. $26 billion to give directly to insurance companies. Who's really looking out for the millionaires and the billionaires? And all of these politicians are on $175,000, $200,000 salaries worth 30 some $100, $200 million. Come on, man. These people are sneaks. All they care about is themselves, you know, and a lot of, and listen, bro, people need to go to jail. Because if not, this is going to continue to keep happening. Let's be honest. It's going to continue to keep happening. So, you know, that's why all of these rhinos need to go, you know, and to become, it's got to be more, like even politicians need to be vetted. Seriously. Like, this is a serious job, you know, and these people claim to serve the people, but they're literally doing the opposite. Like, literally doing the opposite. Look at everything, bro. Look what Joe Biden's administration caused. And I'm going to say his administration because I don't believe he did anything. I don't think Joe Biden knew anything. I think right now Joe Biden is somewhere fucking asleep, and he's been asleep for 4 years. And every time he gets out on stage or he has to do some type of appearance, which he didn't do many, but when he does, you know, they shoot him up with something and get him going for a half an hour, and then they got to go. But his administration, his wife, why you think Joe Biden, allegedly Joe Biden, but pardon all these people, right? Why would he pardon? If Dr. Fauci, if all of these people were just people and they weren't bad people, why did he pardon all of them? Come on, man. The projection is real. And then they'll say, oh, he's projecting. No, that's what the Democrats do on a daily basis, bro. They project. They project who they are onto Donald Trump. Their intentions, they projected on Donald Trump. They project what they're doing onto Donald Trump so they can try to get the focus off of them. And Donald Trump is exposing them, bro. Look at this. This is undeniable evidence. What are people going to say? What are they going to say? What are they going to say about this? This is crazy. And look who posted this. Donald J. Trump. And hold on, let me see what he say. He said, what's worse? The NBA players cheating at cards and probably much else, or the Democrats cheating on elections? The 2020 presidential election being rigged and stolen is a far bigger scandal. Look what happened to our country when a crooked moron became our president. We know now everything. I hope the DOJ pursues this with as much gusto as befitting the biggest scandal in American history. If not, it will happen again, including the upcoming midterms. No mail-in ballots or early voting. Yes to voter ID. He said yes to voter ID. Watch how totally dishonest the California dishonest the California prop vote is. Millions of ballots being shipped. Get smart, Republicans, before it is too late. And that's the truth. It's the truth. And that's because it's Republicans involved too. They're involved too. They're involved too, man. And you don't know. See, this is the thing. We see what they allow us to see, but we don't see the backdoor conversations that if you think, it's just like attorneys. If you know, the judges, and if you think they don't have dinners and talk and associate with each other, these Republicans and Democrats on camera, they beef, they say what they got to say to, you know, protect their party or whatever the case may be. But behind the scenes, you don't know who's friends. You don't know, you know, these conversations that they're having. You know, look at, who is that? James O'Keefe. He be exposing these people. I think he be having women or certain people going out on dates or whatever he be doing, but he be having, you know, footage of people, you know, just spilling the beans on everything. This is crazy. This is undeniable.
The intelligence was strong enough to send out to all of the intelligence agencies, and then a few days later, it was called back on the auspices that they wanted to re-interview the source. Now, the source was re-interviewed a second time, stuck to his story. In the meantime, the Customs and Border Patrol Border Protection Agency intercepted 20,000 of these fake driver's IDs, essentially corroborating the intelligence. But the Biden administration, the Chris Wray FBI, they simply covered this up. And for 5 years, we were kept in the dark until this intelligence document was sent last night to Chuck Grassley from Kash Patel. China saw mail-in ballots as an enormous vulnerability during the COVID-19 pandemic. Our enemies look for weaknesses, not for strengths. They don't look for the hardest thing to do. They look for the easiest thing to do to us. That is a warning sign. Now, lots have happened since 2020, and with all of the voter ID and other things, we've tightened up laws in several states. And where we've tightened up the laws in the states, people vote more because they have greater confidence in the system. But China saw this as an exploitable operation, and I think that should concern all of us. And in any state that doesn't have their mail-in voting to the proximal best security measures, there's a foreign enemy looking to exploit it right now.
This morning, HSI Miami.
And that's another thing too, and this is and that's why a lot of people don't have faith in these elections, because they feel like it's rigged. They feel like whoever, and I used to say it, they feel like whoever they need or they're going to put in office, they already know who they're going to put in office. Even though now getting into politics and stuff and learning stuff, that's not the case. It's just that they rigging shit. They rigging things. And now with guys like myself, Brian Maxwell, he got a nice channel, big channel, is exposing this stuff. So people can see firsthand what's really going on. People try to make everything like a Democrat-Republican thing. No, it's just like truth versus lies. Good versus evil, and it's just what it is, bro. And shout out to Donald Trump, bro, exposing this shit, man. And this is pure corruption that's going on in Minnesota, stuff that's going on in California, everywhere, bro. It's just so much of it. And we just think about it. You would never know any of this stuff would be going on if Kamala Harris was in office. Why? Because her DOJ would have covered all of this up and made sure it never seen a day of light. And anybody who spoke on it or tried to, come out with this information, they would have been shut down because you already seen what they was doing with Mark Zuckerberg. He came for it and said that Joe Biden's administration was putting pressure on him. So what it would have been. Let's be honest, man.
Along with our state and federal partners, FDLE, DSS, and USCIS, arrested a permanent resident who is a Haitian national and a convicted aggravated felon. He was arrested for unlawful voting and casting a false ballot.
This evidence demonstrates, and it's through eyewitness testimony that's been corroborated by others through their eyewitness statements, that 130,000.
Hold on, and you see all whistleblowers coming forward now. Why? Because they feel protected under Donald Trump's administration.
The 280,000 completed ballots for the 2020 general election were shipped from Bethpage, New York, to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where those ballots and the trailer in which they were shipped disappeared.
At this point in time, we have already confirmed tens of thousands of fake voters, of illegally cast ballots, and I'm speaking about the November 3rd election. And think of how that would affect the down ballot voting also. We're talking senators, congressmen,
1.5
local elections. It's affecting all the ballots.
Now
we're gonna end it with that, man. Shout out to Brian Maxwell, man, bringing it. Yo, this stuff is crazy, man. And it's for me, it's like just knowing that this whole time, like they've been saying how Donald Trump is a fraud. Donald Trump is trying to look out for his millionaire and billionaire friends. Donald Trump is a PDF. Donald Trump this. Donald Trump that's all TDS, and it's all to put out there to make you feel this way. When really Donald Trump is the one exposing the truth. He's exposing the truth. He's exposing everything that's going on with these people. All the corruption. This is crazy, man. Yo, you can't make it up, man. You cannot make this stuff up, bro. You truly can't, man. Like, dang. This whole entire time, these people been talking all of this shit, and I knew it though. You know, I've been said it's projection. That's all you gotta look for. That's it. And more importantly, bro, all they want to play on is people's emotion with this whole racism and all of this stuff. Yo. But I'm happy it's coming out. And hopefully his DOJ is going to do something about this stuff and really get to the nitty gritty. People need to start getting locked up because like he said, it's not going to stop. It's going to continue, man. But anyway, let's get into this next segment. Oh, hold on. My bad. I gotta pull this down. My bad. Let's get into this next segment. So the Philadelphia Eagles been blowing my shit. Not gonna lie to you, bro. Since Dallas, that game with Dallas, bro, was a heartbreaker. I'm not even gonna lie. It was a heartbreaker, bro. Be up 21-0 and lose that game and just see how, man. And then last week we lose this game, you know, Jalen Hurts has had a bad game, man. But hopefully we can pick it up this week and get on a little run. Because that's the one thing about football. It's like that I love. It's like you're one and done. Once you get into the playoffs, it's one and done. So you just gotta, you know, you gotta get busy. And I think we're gonna get busy. I think we're gonna get it together. And we're gonna see. But let's get into this with Thomas Mott.
Might still be fresh on all of our minds, but the moves on the Novacare complex today could not be any different, as Howie made the move we did not ask for, but might actually really need, while the offense seems to have agreed that that's true. The real question, though, for all of us, whether you're glass half full or glass half empty, will that rug pull loss kill their confidence when they channel all of this against a Turbo Raider team and finally get a dominant win? I'm guessing the answer is going to be yes, but time is going to tell. But again, don't forget, this is a 3-win Raider team, likely without their starting cornerback, flying across the country and in desperate need of the #1 overall draft pick. This is not a game Las Vegas really wants to win, even if their players are saying, nah, the opposite is true. And if you're in the comment section typing right now, Thomas, you were so negative on Monday. How have you completely flipped? This is ridiculous. The truth of the matter is, I want the Eagles to be good. I'm an Eagle fan. I root for the Eagles. The Eagles being good makes me a happier person. Them being bad, it's depressing. It's not fun. And I truly believe, after watching the film against the Chargers, that this football team, especially with this defense, can still win plenty of games. The schedule is super easy the last 4. If they can get in the big dance, they can host a playoff game, which if they get in, they will. The NFC East is theirs. Anything is possible, and I'm just not going to abandon ship with 4 games left and a playoff appearance all but guaranteed. But of course, I'm not going to forget all of their sins. I'm not going to pretend like that was a flawless game on Sunday, even turnovers aside. I mean, this clip of Cam Jurgens post-game talking about penalties and then not being cleaned up in practice during the week, this right here is still very concerning.
I think we got to be clean during the week, in practice, walk through, everything's got to be clean, and, that's going to lead to being cleaner during the game. And, I don't think we're clean enough during the week.
Nick Sirianni preaches tough, detailed, and together. Yet their center is basically saying that they weren't very detailed during the week, at least when it comes to pre-snap penalties, which keep hurting the offense. Again, that's on Nick Sirianni. Something's got to give. Now, Cam Jurgens did clarify those comments. That was post-game. He then went on WIP a couple of days ago and said, I didn't truly mean that we were not that detailed, but we don't have a lot of time during the week to practice on those things, and maybe we should practice on those things. I think he's being, a little bit more covering for what he said on Monday. I think he truly honestly believes they're not practicing enough to get rid of the penalties. Hopefully, him voicing that, other players voicing that can change it. But again, the point of this episode is not to tell you guys the Eagles are perfect and going to win every single game. It's that I'm positive despite there still being plenty of problems. And that, of course, leads to, I think, the main reason why Philadelphia did lose to the Chargers and the main reason why everybody's freaking out this week. And that was the play of Jalen Hurts. And again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was terrible. He looked bad. Yeah. No one can defend Jalen versus the Chargers. The fact that the usual suspects on local talk radio are already clamoring today for Jalen Hurts to be benched is so unbelievable to me that I didn't even want to talk about it, but
I've seen that too. And that's just, come on, bro. This is the thing I dislike about Philadelphia fans, bro, is that they so unrealistic, bro. It's like crazy to me. This guy took you to 2 Super Bowls, playoffs every single year since a starter. And you're talking about benching him because he's had 3 bad games. Really 1 bad game, but, 3, listen, all year long, it's been a lot. Offensive line banged up. We don't got Lane Johnson. The defense was awful the first 4 or 5 games. Started picking it up. These I'll say last 5-6 games they've been picking it up. They've been doing their part, but we ain't been clicking on offense. And the one thing that's because the whole offense is pretty much the same. The only difference is Kevin Patullo. And I'm not sitting there saying that he's not a good coach. What I'm saying is not working. The play calling is not working. And I know that's got to be frustrating as a quarterback to get, a change up at the offensive coordinator position pretty much almost every year. It's crazy. We talking about new schemes, new play calling, new everything. It's like, as a quarterback, I know that's frustrating. But and then also, bro, they're football players, but they're humans too, bro. I don't know why people forget that part. They're humans, bro. You don't know what Jalen Hurts got going on in his prayer. We don't know. I'm not saying that that's the case. But you got to, everything has to be on the board. It's frustration. People, A.J. Brown, look at him. He, had his, his feelings for, not getting the ball as much and things. It's a lot. You got to try to make everybody happy. You got to learn these new plays. The plays suck. I'm being honest. Yes, the game against the Chargers, it was a little better. Running game got going a little bit. And let's be honest, bro, we need Lane Johnson, bro. He's a major piece. It's a lot of little stuff, bro. It's a team sport, bro. We going to see. But all we need is that spark. If I was Nick Sirianni, I would literally not bring. They talking about Lane Johnson possibly coming back this week, right? I wouldn't even bring him back. Why? For what? We could win these next 4 games without him. We can do it. And that'd be better because he'll be healthy for the playoffs. Same thing with Cam Jurgens, because he's been getting hurt a lot, If we can sit players, sit them. That's what I would do. But we do need to win a couple games. We got to win. 2 out of the 4. I think they said 2 out of the 4. But we're going to do it, bro. And we could do it. And I would not bring Lane Johnson back. I would not risk it, bro. We need Lane Johnson.
Y'all's comments, so here it goes. Jalen Hurts raised a Super Bowl trophy less than a year ago today. Don't forget, he was the MVP of that Super Bowl and should have been the MVP of another one, both against Patrick Mahomes. To call for his benching right now, 5 games into what is a bad stretch, 2 of which he did technically won, for a 6th-string quarterback we've hardly seen play is absolutely insane. And that's not to say Jalen Hurts cannot be critiqued or that Tanner McKee is not potentially a good prospect. Jalen Hurts can 100% be ripped up and down. I mean, his whole thing is that you can look past the fact he sometimes has some very low stats because A, he wins a lot, and B, he does not turn the football over. So obviously, when he's neither winning and also turning the ball over 5 times, everybody rightfully starts to panic. But to go on a show or text your friends group chat saying Jalen Hurts should be benched, a $250 million quarterback, still with an 8-win football team, fresh off a Super Bowl victory, it's ignorant. And if you're at a radio station, it just feels like you're trying to clickbait people, rage bait people into actually viewing your program. And I personally don't think that's the smartest business decision. I don't think that they buy it either way. Jalen Hurts can be criticized 100%, but calling for his benching right now, it's some of the most ridiculous and dumb things you could possibly say. And again, I'm not defending Jalen Hurts' last calendar month, but no one can watch some of the passing concepts, the route concepts, the play design, the blocking and go, yeah, this is all Jalen Hurts' fault. While also watching Jalen Hurts with 2 different competent offensive coordinators make 2 different Super Bowls, it still want to blow the Birds up, who, again, sit alone in the NFC East at the very top and are all but guaranteed to still host a playoff game.
For me, my ultimate importance is protecting the ball and being able to do that. So just see it that way. The problem about the game is as ugly as it was throughout. I had the opportunity to win it in the end, and so that's what I take a lot of pride in. And I didn't come up for my team.
I'll tell you guys what, if Jalen Hurts continues to throw 3+ interceptions the final 4 or maybe 5 games of the season, continues to look really, really bad, he's to cost his football team in the most critical situations, and they keep losing, then yes, there can be a conversation in February or March Maybe, even though I still think Philadelphia monetarily is tied to him. But let's just put that on the back burner right now because he's probably going to go out, shred a bad Raiders team, play 2, maybe Marcus Mariota games against the Washington Commanders, and have one really big game in the Final Four against the Buffalo Bills. If he goes 3-1 in that stretch, or even 4-0 in that stretch, Philadelphia is the 2-3 seed, maybe even the 1 seed. They host a playoff game. Maybe they're red hot, and anything is possible. Oh, and one other really quick point here as to why I feel so positive today and so different from a couple of days ago. Do you realize how good the Philadelphia defense is playing? Like, do we actually understand what this defense has done? I mean, against the Chiefs, in the second half versus the Rams, against the Packers, that game against the Lions, and now the Chargers. I mean, this past Monday night, Nakobe Dean is a whiff or 2 away from Justin Herbert being sacked 10 times in a game. Jalen Hurts threw 5 interceptions. A.J. Brown dropped all those passes, and they still nearly won. I mean, Jalen Hunt right now alone, a complete breath of fresh air off the edge the past couple of games. He now leads the team in sacks. He's top 2 in all other major edge rusher categories. This guy has been balling.
Jalex is really honing in his skill. He's really kind of getting the feel for the game now. And, this is going into his second year. He's starting to understand, like, a lot of GPS stuff. And I think it's really cool for him to just go out there and have fun. And I love it because he's having fun. And I think one thing, until this morning, I didn't watch the film. I just watched the Monsters, Inc. version. But, even in the Monsters, Inc. version, you can see, like, him making plays. And then I think the most important thing for me was seeing the hat on the helmet, seeing the hand, like, high fives and all that stuff. Like, I think that's what I'm all about.
So, yeah, forgive me if I'm a little bit positive today.
Yeah, man, shout out to Thomas Mott, man, bringing the Eagles news. But yeah, man, the Eagles, I hope they do. I'm not gonna lie. I hope they turn it around, bro, because the team is there, bro. We got the same offense, bro, minus Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens, and they're 2 major pieces, and we're gonna get them back. That's why I say I hope that, honestly, we don't rush to bring them. I'm not saying they're rushing, but I wouldn't even bring them back right now. I think we can get the job done without them. Maybe bring them back against the Bills. I'll be okay with that because that's a big game that we want to win. But, bro, football, to me, I think one of the main components of football is momentum. And we do need to get some momentum on these last 4 games. If we can go, if we can win these last 4 and go into the playoffs, and we still got to, depending on, because I ain't going to lie, L.A. been playing really good. They've been playing really good. Even the Bears been playing good, but L.A. been playing really good. But we don't know how these last 4 games going to, it's going to be tight as far as the 1, 2, 3 seed. And we're going to see. But, bro, this is the NFL. It doesn't matter. All you need to do, obviously, it doesn't. We want home field advantage. We want them things. But I'm just saying, like, no matter what, it's going to come down to who goes out there and balls out, period. As long as we can get some momentum, guys can stay healthy these last 4 games going into the playoffs, I think we can get the job done, bro. We definitely need some momentum, bro. The offense has been playing terrible, bro. And this is why I say, bro, I think it's really the play calling, bro. I don't really like the play calling. I watch the games. I'll just be like, yo, what's going on? I'm talking about it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, and we throwing it in the flat. Like, I'm talking about just basic. It's like it's no innovation in it. It's no, trickery in it. No nothing. The best thing I seen was this year was the fake tush push. I love the fake tush push. I ain't gonna lie, because we get them every time with that shit. That's a great play on the goal line. It's a great play. But yeah, man. So as far as we gotta start making good decisions when it comes to politics, and us as black people, bro. We gotta start getting more involved on who we pick to be in these positions, bro. Because these people are, bro. They're just abusing us, bro. They don't, and it's the sad part is that people go out here, they vote for people, and they really have it in their mind that this person is going to be different. This person is going to really change things. They're really going to turn things around. And it's just not the case, man. And I think it's just good to try something new. I try something new, and I think that I'm getting, I think I'm getting what I voted for with Donald Trump. I'm being honest with you. And I'm not saying that every Republican is going to be, the best thing. But I would follow who Donald Trump is is backing in these campaigns. You know what I'm saying? Because if a person isn't that good, he's going to let you know he's not that good. Like, he's not somebody that, you know, that he's endorsing, you know? And that's why he had the whole thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene and all that, because he ain't really backing her with some stuff. But anyway, man, that's the show for today. Oh, yo, I've been trying to put some edits together for the going into. I'm trying to make it like segment based. That's what I do anyway. I break down these. I go video by video, but I want to break it down and I'm trying to just add little edits to my shit. So I kind of messed it up today. I forgot to do something, and it kind of messed it up. But trying to upgrade the you know, the whole scenery for the videos. But yo, I'm gonna start tapping in some different shit, man. You know, I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. You know, I want my shit to look really good though. So I'm trying some new stuff, man. You know, the show was okay today. It was cool. But that's the show for today, man. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. You know, this your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until tomorrow, I'm out.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream. Rich man greed, a poor man prayers. Every man bleeds, but look how God made us. Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.